Hi, hello guys.
How are you?
Oh, good. Now better that you. We are reconnecting, and
We're
as
doing
we
it.
are finishing the best month of the year, according to you,
It
I
is.
would like for everyone to send the love in the comment section as Antonio's birthday was just
Okay.
passed, and yes, happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Fantastic. Another what is another turn around the sun? It's crazy. Time flies, and but it's a fantastic life. And thank you for your wishes. So listen, having taking some time to us for ourselves. My wife and I have birthdays 2 days apart. Um, there's one thing that came to mind that I wanted to talk to you about. Well, several things, but the first one is I've been watching, actually rewatching some interviews from prominent business people in the U.S. and Canada, and this is content that I've watched before, but I think it was timely that I decided to rewatch it again. And sometimes we need to do that multiple times, not because the content changes, but because we change along the way and we see it differently. So the one of the interviews that I watched was with Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary is one of the sharks in the Shark Tank. He's Mr. Wonderful, right? The financially disciplined shark. That's his brand. And he his interview was very intimate, and he was very clear about the importance about staying disciplined, having financial discipline. And that, not too long ago, you and I had this conversation about being disciplined in the middle. So of course that triggered that conversation. And I figured that we'd revisit it briefly today under the financial context. Not only on the personal finance side, but on the business finance side. And in fact, that interview was more focused on the entrepreneur, on the business owner, and how you should be looking at money and what discipline, financial discipline looks like. And I'll give you just kind of a quick synopsis of that, and I want to get your thoughts on that. So his overarching message, Kevin O'Leary's message was, you either get disciplined or the market will discipline you. And what he meant by that is, look, you have to have the discipline to understand what he called it. What is your nut? What is it? What are the expenses that you need to cover on a monthly basis? And have clarity on that. That's number one. Number two, have a plan and execute a plan that generates revenue at levels that exceed that nut, your expenses, so you generate a profit. And number three, don't blow that money. You have to make that extra money work for you. So that's why he calls discipline. Let me just get your thoughts on just that. What comes to mind, John?
Yes, without discipline, there's nothing. I'm one of the biggest fans that when people talk about, oh no, yeah, but first you have to get motivated. Motivation can only get you to one point, but if you do not execute after that motivation, pardon my French, motivation is crap. It does not work. So if you commit to get discipline and get into the habit of committing to your goals, that's pretty much the first step. Also, we were discussing about acknowledging that there's a situation that needs to be addressed, but I would
Yeah,
like to leave that back to you.
yeah, no, that's a great point. And I without getting sidetracked, I think there's a big market for motivation. A lot of people seek motivation, but I look at motivation graphically because I'm very visual. It's like pumping up a balloon full of air. Fill it up, and then as soon as you stop pumping, that balloon starts deflating. And that's what happens with a lot of people that look for motivation only and they believe that's going to make a difference. Motivation is good to get you to the next step, but you still have to take the next step. So anyway, let me not get sidetracked on that. When it comes to discipline, and I believe like you do that discipline is everything. Is when he talks about understanding where you are financially, what is required to not only sustain but grow your business financially. If that means that you need to generate $10,000 a month in new business revenue, that's what you got to do. If that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it says it costs me, my investment in my business is $10,000 a month. And when I generate $10,000 a month in revenue, that brings me to break even. And I will tell you that I didn't get in the business to break even. So you need to be looking at, okay, now that you understand what that is, investment wise, how much you need to earn. They say that your plan, your executed plan that generates $12,000 in top line revenue. You know that your expenses are $10,000 a month. Fantastic. You got $2,000 in surplus. And this is a simple example. They're not real numbers, but they're simple examples just to get the math right. So that means that you have 2,000. So for discipline number one is understand what your nut is, right? What your expenses are and what you need to run and operate and grow your business. Step number two, or discipline number two, is understand clearly what your business is to generate and have a process, an executable process that allows you to generate that level of revenue on a recurring basis. That's step number two. Step number three is, now that you accomplished that, discipline number three is don't blow that $2,000 into stuff that you don't need, and have the discipline to make that money work for you. And that's the discipline that a lot of us lack. I think many of us as entrepreneurs and business owners understand we need to know our numbers. We need to know, hey, it takes this much money, this much energy to just sustain and grow our business. Okay, we understand that. Then we're pretty good at setting up the target, the revenue target. We're pretty good at that. We're less good at hitting that regularly. And we're definitely worse at having the discipline of looking at extra money or surplus, net operating income, as what it is. It's net operating income. It's not free money. We need to make that work for us. So what are your thoughts on that now that we kind of dove in a little bit deeper into the financials?
Correct. Especially is one of the struggles is also like once you start seeing those deposits, those coins coming into your bank account, you get excited and you start to get sidetracked and you probably invest that income in things that are not, that necessary for your business, thinking, oh, now I can get this, get that. And you are not thinking in the infinite gain, which is not what we will achieve this month, how we're going to keep this sustainable as we keep the business growing and evolving, because probably this month it's amazing, but we don't know about the next one, how it's going to be. So that's where we're failing when it comes to the planning. And we fall into the emotion of seeing that income coming and not planning, okay, now that I have this, how can I use the best way what I want, what I got into my bank account.
Yeah, it takes discipline. I mean, it's not supposed to be easy. But you got to do it. It takes discipline to do that. It takes discipline to say, yeah, I got an extra $10,000 this month, and I don't deserve a vacation. My family deserves that, to put this money to work. So at some point we can reap the rewards of that investment and put that money work for you.
Yes, and I would like to add something to that because this is a
Yeah,
true life example.
yeah,
Someone that told me like, no, I don't need to keep those 10,000 in the bank as anything because it'll come at the end of the year and then I will have to pay taxes on it. So I better invest it or waste it in any other thing. That to me was like very irresponsible. But then again, we always like to tell ourselves the things that we want to believe
yeah.
in order to justify
Oh, yeah.
the incongruence and something that is inconsistent. So it's not about losing the money and leaving it in the bank. No, it's just about being mindful of where are you going to deposit your money and the income that you generate, which is the stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny because you're absolutely right. We are really good as human beings at justifying whatever point we're trying to make. It's one of my talents, really, honestly. But yeah, it's I don't believe in stashing money. I don't believe in hoarding money because, especially in inflationary times that we're living right now, it's almost like rotting fruit. It gets worse as the days go on. If the money's not moving, it's not doing anything for you. It's actually eroding. It's losing value. It's losing value. So again, that's a different discussion for a different time. But the whole point here in the reawakening that interview did for me is, wow, discipline. It's all about discipline. Understand exactly where you need to be. Understand what it takes to grow your business and generate surplus i.e., net operating income. That's net operating income. Just basics is here's your income, what you made, what your business revenue is, top line, minus the expenses, what it costs to pay people, pay yourself, buy supplies, buy raw material to create products, and once you subtract all of that, what's left over, that's the net operating income. So that doesn't necessarily mean profit, right? But it's net operating income, and understanding that very clearly, and then having the discipline of taking that surplus money and deploying it in the right way. Like Mr. Wonderful Kevin Leary likes to say, send those dollars out so they can make babies and come back with big families. So that's, I mean, that triggered me this past week, and I wanted to just get your thoughts, because it's something that it's not earth shattering, it's not new information, but it's the type of information that needs to be repeated over and over and over again,
Yes.
because we are what we repeatedly do. And
Yes, and it's just friendly reminders of things that we just
yeah,
assume that, oh, we already know that, we already know. Okay, but why you're still doing the
yeah.
opposite?
I told somebody the other day, it's not the knowing, it's the doing that's the problem. We know
Yes,
what to do, but we don't do the thing that we know what to do. So this is just like you said, a reminder. Hey, listen, I know that you know this. I know this, but I wanted you to hear it again.
yes,
Maybe this time you'll use that information and put it into action. No,
correct.
good information builds your confidence. Confidence builds your competence. Actually, it's the other way around. You build your competence. You're better at what you do. You do it. You become more confident. And when you
Correct.
become confident, you do more of it, and that's what drives results. So same thing with discipline. So listen, is a quick and dirty thing that I wanted to
But
just
straight
share
to the
with you.
point, to the
I
vein.
don't think there's anything else to be said, at least not on my end. Do you have any parting thoughts?
Well, and like I was mentioning at the beginning, discipline is everything, but also created the habit of discipline. That's also where the key is, because we live a real life. Sometimes we're not going to be able to do the exact same thing every single day, not
Right.
even if we are at the army, but at least let's aim to be as consistent as possible. If, okay, I did not do it one day, okay, do not let it be 3 days, because 3 days are going to turn into a week is going to turn into a month, and then
Yeah.
years. So, okay, if sometime we fall off the rails, okay, let's go back and find a way to do that. And do not stare at the situation, acknowledge it, and do something about it. How can you improve? How can you get back in track with the discipline in order to create those goals? Because if you don't keep doing it repeatedly, how are you going to get better? How are you going to get that confidence? So I totally resonate with you on that one, Antonio. And this was a short one, but a good one.
I think so too. I think so too. Well, listen, let's remind everyone, reach out to us, follow us, connect with us. We want to be part of your network, and vice versa. And money, all businesses conversations, all businesses are based on relationship, and if we can be of service in any way. We ask very simply, just like, follow, subscribe, whatever you see this conversation, and there's going to be more outlets where you can actually pick up this information, and prior conversation. We're archiving all of this, not only for our benefit, for your benefit as well, if you see value in repeating and re-listening to this information. So that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, and it was a lot. So I guess I'll see you next time and wish happy birthday to Antonio.